Hey everybody, we are back with video games. Welcome to die! So, it's the 11th today. The 9th was the 5th anniversary of the mecha-chrono stream. Oh, is that Mir? I've seen Mir in a while. This looks so blurry and pixelated compared to when we were doing the PC version a few weeks ago. Ugh. So, we've been doing this for 5 years now. Yeah. So, to celebrate that, we're going to do whatever the fuck I want. And bearing in mind it is the year of PlayStation, I don't want to break that for the stream anniversary thing. So, what we're going to do is we're going to play 40 minutes each of some of my favourite PlayStation games. Beginning with one of the big ones up there, Final Fantasy VII. We're going to play this for 40 minutes, then we're going to switch it up to something else. What else? Not really sure yet. But we're probably going to do like 4 or 5 games, play them for 40 minutes each, have some fun. Like when we used to do the viewer's choice stuff with PlayStation Mini. Except it's not the viewer's choice, it's my choice. Because it's my stream. Final Fantasy VII. Let's start the timer. 40 minutes. And we'll just appreciate some good old games. Final Fantasy VII, though, was the second game I streamed. Like, the first game I streamed was Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch. This was the second. I originally streamed the PS4 version. I've never actually streamed the original PlayStation version without modification. Because the first time we streamed this, it was the PS4 version. The second time was the retranslation patch for the PlayStation version. And then the last time we did it was the new Threat 2.0 mod. So, we've never fully streamed OG FF7 on PlayStation. Which we should probably do at some point. FF7 absolutely deserves to be appreciated in its original context. Like, we can look at all this and get it on the PC version and clean it all up, but this, as it originally stands, is still fantastic. I adore this game. So how's everybody doing today on this Saturday evening? As we play some Final Fantasy VII. So it's easy enough to look at this and be like, oh, this looks awful. And a lot of it is that you're presenting pre-rendered backgrounds that are originally rendered at 240p, and we're streaming this at 1080. So of course that's going to look awful. And there's not much you can do for pre-rendered backgrounds in that aspect. It's why the 3D stuff looks a lot cleaner. Because you can anti-alias those, and you can clean them up and up the resolution and such. But up in the resolution of pre-rendered stuff like your FMVs, your backgrounds and such, it balloons up and it shows its artifacting very quickly. Oh, I don't have punctuation. Sometimes it's fun to just be dumb for no good reason. So while we're doing this, why don't you guys tell me some of your favourite PlayStation games? How you doing, Bane? Of course, the man I like to celebrate every time we do one of these anniversary streams, the OG mod himself. I don't know, Ibanez El Rey. It's a guitar brand, and I didn't know that when we started streaming. Ibanez was a guitar brand, so I started calling him Bane, and it stuck, and he's Bane now. I've said it before, but like, without Bane's regular support, especially in the early days, we wouldn't have gotten this far. To the point of having a community. You need this Phoenix down within the first few hours of the game, you're doing something wrong. Yeah, while we're doing this, why don't you guys share some of your favourite PS1 games and memories in this, our year of the PlayStation. Back when video games sold by generally being good, usually. I mean, plenty of bad video games sold a lot, plenty of good video games didn't sell a lot. Word of mouth was good for a lot of these things. Sleeper hits got by being generally good. Symphony of the Night was a sleeper hit. Didn't sell well immediately. Thank you, Ben. Didn't sell well immediately, but it caught on. It just kept selling. Look at these 15 FPS animations. This is how we played the game back in 1997, and we liked it. It was amazing. Guess it. So, yeah, it was groundbreaking and mind-blowing, and also the back of the box lied to you. Because I still have the back, I still have the box, I still have the back of the box. I still have the box for all the PS1 Final Fantasy games, except Tactics, which wasn't released over here, and I don't have Chocobo Racing, that's a spin-off, that's fine, don't worry about it. And the back of the box has 4 pictures to demonstrate the game. 3 of them are FMVs, and 1 of them is the snowboarding game. So they lied to you. He didn't understand what was happening. Yeah, the concept of grinding when we were younger was like... Because this was my first RPG. I've spoken about this before, but we didn't get a lot of RPGs on the Super Nintendo in this country. You know, because we're a third world country. And so Squaresoft didn't see fit to give us some of their classics like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI, which was called Final Fantasy III. We didn't get Super Mario RPG. I think we got maybe both Breath of Fires, but I didn't have them. We got Mystic Quest for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, when I first got an RPG, it was this. And here we are. 27 years later. Really? I thought you had one of the Breath of Fires on Super Nintendo, Ben. Or Secret of Mana, maybe? RE3 is likely to show up during this celebration. Wah, 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 wah. Really? Surprising. Surprising. All the light gun stuff got point blank. Like, Time Crisis, absolute classic, and I enjoyed playing that when we had the light gun, but the big one was point blank. Absolutely adored point blank. I promise you, Ben, we'll get to Breath of Fire 3 at some point this year. I'll make sure to do that. It's such a shame that point blank isn't really doable on modern systems. You could probably do it on the Switch, but it wouldn't work as well as it might on the Wii. No, we'll get to Breath of Fire 3. I feel like I'm gonna have to update a few of these things. We have the follow alert working again, at least. That's nice. Ah, the GBA versions. With that original Super Nintendo translation intact for Breath of Fire 2. 10 minutes. It's Flame! How you doing, Flame? Well, you see, what we're doing today, Flame, is we're celebrating the PS1 games I grew up with and playing my old favourites. How dare you say that to me? How dare you say that to me? How you doing, Flame? Good to see you. Good to see you again. It's good to see Mir again. Mir's been away for a while. Good to see Bane again. Bane's been away for a while. My friends. My community and my friends. Flame, share with us some of your PlayStation 1 memories. Some of your PlayStation 1 favourites. You know, Point Blank got a port to the DS, which was kind of a compilation. And, like, it worked fine. But because you were just tapping the screen rather than shooting. Because you were just tapping the screen instead of, like, aiming and shooting, there was way less challenge to it and it was way less engaging. Yeah, I think we spoke about this before. As like, I also played Jedi Power Battles with my dad. I'm not against doing that this year, but if we don't do it this year, we'll do the Dreamcast version. Which, if you've played the PS1 version, but you've never played the Dreamcast version, the Dreamcast version makes the PS1 version feel unfinished. It's really weird. Man, MK Trilogy, I hate that. It was a selling point for coming to see a house. No, we had GoldenEye after a certain point on N64. But like, we were lucky to have 3 working controllers. Devil Dice. I love Devil Dice. I was so surprised a few years ago to find out that Devil Dice is part of a series, and each like Devil Dice is the only game in that series released in the West. There's a PSP game. It was only released in Japan. I played it. It's all right. OG Medal of Honor. Those first 2 Medal of Honor games are really interesting compared to what the series became. Especially Underground. Your mom got her limit break. I love Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. I do want to get to that this year. I've never really played any of the Bloody Raw games. Ape Escape, though. I remember having the demo for Ape Escape. And it was like, you can't play this. And it's like, why? You need this controller. The fuck is this? Fortunately, I didn't own Ape Escape on PlayStation until I had a PS3. Demo discs were great. My love of demo discs and like finding stuff through demo discs, and the fact that demos don't really exist in that way anymore, is the entire inspiration behind the demo reel idea. Which we should get back to at some point. It's good stuff. Alright, we'll be here for a while, Flame. You take care of yourself. Hopefully we'll catch you later. Oh, Mega Boost. Do I know that? I don't think so. I was in Tesco recently and passed by the magazine shelf, and they have Retro Gamer there, and I was so tempted to buy it. I just buy an issue of Retro Gamer. Part of what put me off was like it's like £6. Remember when they came with I remember when magazines came with demo discs and were like £2.50. But it was like £6. I was like, am I really gonna get any real use out of it? And a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, cause he ain't got nobody to listen. Now we can stop that. Legend of Dragoon. I didn't find out about Legend of Dragoon until years later. I think Bane might have been the one to introduce me to that. Possibly. There's a possibility of us getting to Legend of Dragoon this year, but, like, don't hold your breath. Mostly just because, like, the length of RPGs, generally. And there's other RPGs I'd like to get to before that. Like, I want to do a proper Suikoden playthrough and get all the way through that. Breath of Fire 3 I want to do. The SMT1 playthrough. Although there is a possibility of doing something else with that. So that might not happen this year for the year of PlayStation. We'll see. We'll see about that one. Evacuating herself. What a way to describe that. Why is the gate in her butt, Bane? Why is the gate in her butt? Actually stabbing herself with a censored. I was actually playing through Legend of Dragoon off stream a few years ago. I got to disc 2 with it. I was using... There's a ROM hack you can get for it that doubles the size of the inventory. Can we go back? Oh, we can't go back. As Wedge said, your mom never came. Oh, I skipped past that too fast. But yeah, a ROM hack that doubled the inventory in Legend of Dragoon. Because I think the original's 32 item slots and it ups it to 64. It might have uncensored stuff as well. And I did find a hack for the Dreamcast Skies of Arcadia that removes the censorship. Yeah, I was discussing it, not that specifically, but like the issue of limited inventory slots in RPGs generally, with Klim in his stream, which is currently still going on, where he's playing Parasite Eve. Because, like, one of my big issues I had with Parasite Eve was its limited inventory slots, and Klim agrees that's an issue. And I'm like, yeah, it's always an issue in any RPG. I think it detracts from pretty much any RPG it's a thing in. Like Parasite Eve, or the original Pokemon, or what's the third one? Super Mario RPG. Like, it was a real issue in Super Mario RPG. I think it had like 10 item slots in total. This game has such a good soundtrack. I figure, like, we keep going long enough doing the stream, and we'll eventually do a 4th playthrough of Final Fantasy VII. And maybe we will do the original PlayStation version. Or maybe we'll do just the PC version, modded to look as good as it can, while still being true to the original. RPG speedruns are such an interesting concept. It's like, you have to play games so much. Like, you have to play specific, like, single games so much to be able to speedrun them. And with RPGs, like, with how long they'll get, it's absolutely crazy. To think, like, oh yeah, you've done this enough to speedrun it. And it's like, cool, what's your speedrun time? It's like 10 hours. It's like, okay. That's insane. You've practiced this and done it enough times, which you're probably looking at thousands of hours of playing it to get a run down to 10 hours. That's insane. But yeah, we'll probably do FF7 again at some point. It's just a good game, and like I say, it's one of the old favourites. Several games I'd probably like to do again. Finally started another playthrough of Metroid Dread. And it was like, you know, this game is, like, genuinely really good. 'Cause I haven't played it since I finished it on stream, my first playthrough. I've seen the Necrosis mod, I don't want to. Honestly, after the New Threat 2.0, I want to just sit down and do the vanilla experience. Because, like, New Threat was interesting, the challenge of it. It felt engaging. Because I'll be honest, like, having streamed FF7 two times before that, it really makes you aware of how much in this game you just kind of autopilot through. Even the battles, there's very few battles, even boss fights, where you actively have to pay attention in 7. It is an easy RPG. And so having the game be more engaging like that, and having to pay attention to everything that's going on in fights and trying to do the best way to do things rather than just like, I can get through this entire thing mashing attack. That was really interesting. But having done that, is like, I kind of want to just do vanilla FF7 again. Not gonna lie, I have considered that. I have genuinely considered that. My main concern is not being able to understand certain things. Specifically materia, for like equipping materia and such. Like, I'll know where to go, I'll know what to do. Reading the stat numbers on equipment would probably be fine, because they'll probably use standard Arabic numbers. But like, the materia system specifically has been like, this is probably going to be tricky. But it could be interesting, and I have genuinely considered it. Difficulty is slightly higher. Interesting. Speaking of, like, original versions, though, I do want to go back and do a full playthrough of Dreamcast Skies of Arcadia. Like, I gave it up the last time when we were going to do it, and then just did a 100% run of Legends. Which, like, I'm happy I did. Happy we did that on stream, we got that down and recorded. And it was a cool thing to do. But I would like to do a full stream, full playthrough of Dreamcast Skies of Arcadia. And I bring that up because, like, the higher encounter rate. It is good stuff. At least that still works. It was weird to me in FF7 Remake how you never actually go into the hideout. for a while. Alright, I appreciate being here, man. It's good to see you again. Hope you're doing okay. Look away from the camera when I said that, makes it seem disingenuous. I hope you're doing okay. We reverse it, we look to the camera as we say it. That's probably enough of that. It's kind of interesting though, like, go back to the PlayStation, and there's so many games on the PlayStation that I grew up with, or, like, grew up hearing about and wanting to play, and still want to play and whatnot. And then you compare it with the Nintendo 64, and there's so much less I'm interested in playing generally. And, like, I get the Nintendo 64 had less games, but even taking that into account, like... I don't know, maybe it's because there's so much less decent third-party stuff. Because, like, we think about all the really good stuff on PlayStation, and so little that is directly from Sony. Because they were putting stuff out, like, they had stuff like Jumping Flash, Legend of Goon, Wild Arms, so on and so forth. And the majority of the Nintendo 64's, like, top library is Nintendo stuff. Nintendo owned or Nintendo published. But there's so much less on there that I'm ever interested in playing, to the point where it's often not all that interesting to me to even bother going back to a lot of the time. It's like, you got Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and Super Mario 64. And I like the Castlevania games. And, like, the Nintendo 64 version of RE2 is a curiosity, but once you've experienced it, it's like, yeah. It's cool, but you don't really need to play it again over any other version. Mega Man 64 isn't worth playing, you're better off playing the PlayStation version. Almost every third-party game that was on both platforms is better on PlayStation. Yeah, new third-party stuff. A lot of the old third parties expanded on PlayStation rather than Nintendo 64. It's like, yeah, sure, the Nintendo 64 got 2 new Castlevania games, the PlayStation got 1, and a remake or enhanced port of 1. With Konami. But, like, with Capcom, the only things they got from Capcom were ports of PS1 games. 2 ports. RE2 and Mega Man 64. Meanwhile, PlayStation got, like, Mega Man 8, Mega Man X's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and Survivor. Konami put out Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation, which was a new continuation of a franchise. The big lack of third party, like all those third parties, we think about it and we say the stuff like Square dropping Nintendo was bad for them because then Final Fantasy VII was this mega hit. But it's really the case that almost every third party dropped them. Like, the big third parties, especially. Like, Konami and Capcom almost completely abandoned them. They did some token efforts, and that's kind of it. Why would you just throw that on the floor? See, goddamn's gonna pay your mum for her services. Yeah. It really is kind of a shame, and like, Capcom and Konami never really went back to Nintendo outside of the handhelds. Like, we're almost done with this one. Because like the GameCube had some Capcom stuff. They did have some Konami stuff, but very little, and a lot of it. The only thing I can think of only came out in Japan. That Smash Brothers clone that has Transformers in it and Solid Snake for some reason. And that's that. Final Fantasy VII. That's 1. It goes RetroArch crashing again because it's a piece of shit. Oh, did I load the wrong one? That didn't seem right. God damn, Zeke. Thank you so much for the gift subs. I don't recognize 2 of those names. Start the timer again. Which one's that? I think this is 4. I got really quick at this opening part. Like, if you don't care about Alucard's opening stats, and you just go over here and say, fuck it. Is that all of them? Excellent. Thank you so much for those gift subs, Teak. That's the wrong one. Yeah, Teak is currently playing through Alone in the Dark, the new Nightmare, on his Franchise Fridays, as he goes through the Alone in the Dark series, for some reason. Something I'm sure he's regretted several times. How you doing, Teak? Anyway, yeah, welcome on in, Zeke. We're sharing our favourite PS1 memories. Yeah, now Bane can use that emote that Clem made for me of the shifty-eyed dog from The Simpsons. It's come in handy many times. Oh, is this still in rando mode? Shit, it is. We're doing Salt and Rando real quick then. We're in Lycanthrope rando mode. That's what we're doing now. I am actually a little out of practice with this. One, two, three, jump. Ah, shit. Okay, so if we want to get the death skip, then I need to pull this off, right? Ah, shit. I didn't have enough speed to make it all the way through. So, the Symphony of the Night randomizer, which is something I've been debating doing at some point this year anyway. I think I've spoken before about how kind of unappealing as far as randomizers go the Soten randomizer is. Because if you're not abusing glitches, then everything has to be in the first castle. Like, all the movement upgrades have to be in the first castle. Which means by the time you get to the second castle, it's very vanilla. And so that's like half your game. Still has to be vanilla in a randomizer. And so what the Soten Rando has grown into is essentially a bunch of presets that mix things up a bunch. This preset that we have preloaded here is the Lycanthrope preset, where we start with all the wolf abilities. Damn it, sword. So we start with Soul of Wolf, Skill of Wolf, and Power of Wolf. Right. We'll try this one more time. If we don't make it, we'll go. And so, having those three abilities, like just the full wolf set, gives us a bunch of different options in the way we navigate the castle, the way we move. Nope, fucked it up. On top of just, like, the randomized stuff. The starting equipment on the Lycanthrope preset is always set. You have a shield rod, a shaman shield, brilliant mail, which I think reduces MP cost or something. I forget exactly what the brilliant mail does. The most important thing is the mystic pendant. And, like, we've lost all that because we missed the death skip. Not great. But the mystic pendant increases MP restoration. On the Lycanthrope preset, wolf form costs less MP. Costs less MP to use, less MP to charge through enemies, and so on and so forth. So the idea is, like, wolf is your primary method of just everything. We haven't picked up a weapon yet, which means we're going to go into the first boss barehanded. And because we don't have the cube of Zoe, we also have no sub-weapon. So that's going to be fun. My preferred preset really became Batmaster, because you don't start with the bat stuff, but you're likely to get it a lot quicker. There we go. And the movement speed for bat is way faster. Wing Smash is infinite until you run out of magic. Echo of Bat is a full screen. Like, once you have Force of Echo, turn Echo of Bat into an attack, it does a full screen. Which is great for breaking stuff. Like, it's good for killing weak enemies, but it's really good for breaking stuff. I love it. And it's such a quick preset to go through. The real value of using your fists or a punching weapon and something like that is how fast they can punch. Alright, so all of the relics in this game, like, all of the relic locations have been randomized. There's always a logic stream that we can follow. Like, the next area for us, like, the next area of progression for us has to be logically accessible. It can't be like, oh, the next thing we need to progress. Like, say we need the Jewel of Open next. It has to be in a position we can reach, like this. Gravity Boots. Which, Gravity Boots combined with Wolf is technically flight, but it's not logical flight. So what it is, Gravity Boots is logical flight when you have the Leap Stone, double jump. Because then you can do the gravity jump, do the super jump with the Gravity Boots, double jump, and then continuously do super jumps with the Gravity Boots. Without that, what you end up having to do, and what I'll show off when we get to the clock room, is transform into the wolf, because it resets your jump animation. So we've come up here now. What I need is to not hit my head. Nope, still can't do it. Fuck. You know what? It's not worth it. It's been too long since I've done the randomizer and had to do that. To remember exactly how I get out of the position lock for that. But anything we would find up there currently is considered out of logic because we don't have logical flight. So anything we would get up there would not be the next step that we need to progress. So if Leapstone is up there, for instance, we'll have logical flight, but the next thing we need to step up to the next progression item that we need would not require flight. If you get what I mean. Two, three, 1, 2, jump. And I got the Massa Moon, which... it's good, it's better than what we had. It's two-handed, so I don't like to use stuff like that. But we don't have a shield, so it doesn't matter. This is one skip I regularly can't pull off. We have the gravity boots now, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm just showing this off real quick. What you have to do is go up these stairs with a bunch of momentum really quickly. Which means you've got to do Skill of the Wolf and then jump, and I'm having a hard time getting it. And that's, like, if you don't have something like Gravity Boots by this point, that's how you do that and skip the Doppelganger fight. So we can go into the library, probably our next progression. What I want to do, though, is check the top of the elevator, because there is a relic up here. Whether it's a relic we want right now and is worth going out of the way for, it's not. Okay. It's just a familiar card. So with the gravity boots, we have access to 2 relics in this area. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 relics. I forgot about whatever's going to be replacing the Spirit Tome. Heart of Vlad. So the end goal is to get all 5 pieces of Vlad, which gets us access to the final boss. So, like, if you were playing a Link to the Past randomizer, often, unless you decide otherwise when setting it up, the end goal is to get all 7 crystals. So that you can get into Ganon's Tower, which means sometimes pendant dungeons will be optional. Similar thing with this, a lot of stuff can be optional, depending on the placement of the relics of Vlad, because those are specifically what you're after. Those are what's required to finish the game.
I'm interested in.
Okay, so Ring of Vlad, so that's 2 pieces of Vlad already. We don't really have much money, but what can we buy? A Crusago for 2,000, goddamn. Library card's a good idea. But no progression so far. Gravity boots have been the only thing. So now we have to start thinking, like, where can we go now with what we have? And logically, I think the clock tower is the only location. We could go to the Colosseum. No, the Colosseum would be in logic, actually. Because we got the gravity boots. Yeah. Without the gravity boots, right now, it wouldn't be in logic. Because we can get in there using the wolf double jump trick. But that wouldn't be something the game's intending. And that's what logic is, really. Like, what can you do within the game's logic? Because the game will never break itself unless you put it on the possibility for a glitch run. Which I don't. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy doing that. So our options are Clock Tower into the Castle Keep, or Colosseum into the Royal Chapel into the Castle Keep. I'm going to go with the Colosseum into the castle, into the Royal Chapel, and see where that gets us. We don't have the Jewel of Open yet. Alright, so we can gravity boost now. The wolf double jump trick. Like I say, when you transform into the wolf, in mid-air, it resets your jump. So you can use it as technically a double jump. Transform into the wolf in mid-air and jump kick off that. Ordinarily, you don't have access to the jump kick until... double jump. But transforming into wolf, transforming back, gives you that ability. So you can jump kick straight off the... You can jump kick off that lantern and get up here. You can do that in vanilla Soten as well, and it's the easiest way to start going in different directions. There we go. Because the intended progression of the game is to get to the library, buy the Jewel of Open, and then go into either the underground caverns, circle around, then go into the Royal Chapel, or just go straight into the Royal Chapel and then circle back around to get to the Castle Keep, and then go into the underground cavern later after you have the battle form. The risk going into the Colosseum right now is you're not intended to get here until you have double jump, which you get by going through the Castle Keep. So you're expected to be quite a few levels higher with better equipment, which makes this a dangerous area at this level. Well, that was absolutely not worth it. Yeah, I hadn't realised how long it had been since I'd done Symphony of the Night Randomizer. I spent a bunch of time just playing these. Oh, burger. I spent a bunch of time just playing the Soten Randomizer. And just kind of absorbing everything about it. And it was fun. I enjoyed doing it over like a Link to the Past Randomizer because it's a lot quicker. You can have these done in like very reasonably and regularly under an hour and a half. If you're really good, you can have it done in often under an hour. But like even the really good Zelda Link to the Past rando runners will generally take... I should have checked this. We could have checked what was here before we went for that fight. It's a familiar card, it's not even useful. Even the good Link to the Past rando runners will generally take about 2 hours. on that rando. So this was more appealing to me because I really like Soten, and it's a lot faster. The music randomizing is an interesting choice. Okay, so logical progression has to be in the castle keep. I don't think there's anywhere else it can be right now. Did the Masamune reduce my health? Yes, no, it reduced my defense down to 0. No wonder I'm taking so much damage. But look at the trade-off, though. 96 attack. It's also, like, one of the things with the randomizer that I found really cool for Symphony of the Night. There are so many pieces of equipment in Symphony of the Night that you'll never use. Because by the time you find them, you've got something that's undeniably better. And so, playing through Symphony of the Night, you don't... You get comfortable in what you have, like what you know. And occasionally you might decide I'll grind for a particular drop that I know is here. Like maybe you'll grind for the Crusade Room. But you get comfortable in what you've got because you know where it'll all be and how to get it all. The randomizer forces you to play with stuff that you never normally would. I never used the Masamune. Ever. Excellent. Welcome back, Manda. Alright, so this one's a bit more vertical, but it's a boss exit room, so it's going to de-transform me. There you go. On-transform. So yeah, forcing you to mix up the items that you use, the weapons you use, is honestly kind of appealing to me in this respect. I really like it. Fair enough. Alright, so what is up here? The Leap Stone. That's our logical flight. Of course, the downside to this is it opens up so many more areas for us to check now. Opens up the rest of the castle keep for one. And generally just makes movement easier. Alright, so that's the Poison Cloud, not required for anything. There's no guarantee we'll even get Power of Mist in this. Thank you, Manda. Relic up here. So the main thing, the main knowledge Symphony of the Night Randomizer requires of you is knowledge of where all the relics are. Which isn't that hard to get. So up there would normally be the ghost card. So what we're going to do now is go through the clock tower. There is one relic check here.
Humans!
Humans. And Karasuman remains a joke. There's one relic check here, which is Fire of Bat. Like vanilla, it's Fire of Bat. With reduced health, with reduced defense, this is going to be dangerous. Buy a shield. Oh. Alright, and that was the tricky part. This area normally plays the Tragic Prince, which is my favourite track in the game. Another familiar card. So that puts us up to, I think, 4 familiar cards we've found. So with Logical Flight now, all Roxy's quarters. Don't have enough money for the Crusagram, which is a shame. Unless the Aquamarine would sell for enough. The Crusagram is one of those weapons in a randomizer of, like, if you can get it without going too far out of your way, it's gonna make the game for you. You're looking essentially for like one really good weapon to carry you through the game. And the earlier you get it, the happier you'll be. And the Crusagram on the Librarian for 2,000 gold is... like, you don't really get any better than that.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in
It doesn't sell for enough.
I'm interested in this.
It's 2,000.
Farewell for now.
Oh. Without Form of Mist, we can't go and check Batrail, the Soul of Bat card. Soul of Bat check. With Gravity Boots, there is an item check we can do right here. Alright, so Gram's a decent weapon. And that also deals with our defense problem. The big value of the Masamune was that we had really high attack, and we didn't really have to aim. Because it hits in like a big circle in front of you. Right, so no Jewel of Open, so we can't go through the caverns yet. Alright. So what it means is next progression has to be on All Rocks. Or in All Rocks' quarters. Ooh, power of Papa. There we go. Diamond. If next progression is Jewel of Open, then using the library card to go back to the library, sell the diamond, and just get the Crusade Grub, and then we've solved the weapon problem. $62. For the most part, this is just how vanilla Soten ends up being a lot of the time. Like, you get to a point where a lot of stuff is only going to do, like, 1 point of damage to you, or less. And then maybe something will have an attack that does more. That's kind of it. And that's vanilla Symphony of the Night. If you can get past the opening hurdle of not having a lot to work with, the game gets very easily, very quickly. Alright, so what is our progression? It has to be here. It is the Jewel of Open. So now the fastest way to use this is to equip that library card we got.
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
like,
I'm interested in this.
like you. like you.
We were trying to get the Crusader for 2000. There was an Alucard shield here for 400. And it's like, cool, what do we have? The shield rod.
Farewell for now.
So that is the 40 minutes. So, real quick, for anybody who doesn't know with the Crusader, this is what the Crusader does. That's 4 hits. You don't have to stop for it. Speedrunners in particular, like, if a speedrunner in a Symphony of the Night randomizer gets the Crusader, they love it because you can shield dash with a Crusader. Crazy. But that is Symphony of the Night. It's like unexpected randomizer, but that's Symphony of the Night. Next game we're gonna do, Clinton's still going. God damn. Look at that boy over there. Should you? I should actually read Claymore. I watched the anime. And it had one of those standard anime endings from that time of like, we caught up to the manga and we don't want to do filler, so we're just going to tack on a weird out-of-place ending here that feels really unsatisfying. It was disappointing. I should read the manga. So, game number 3 we're going to play for 40 minutes will be Alundra. The original, the good one. I wonder if we can get through Wendell's Nightmare in 40 minutes. Another of my childhood favourites, Alundra. I didn't have any of the handheld Zelda games, so like, my experience with top-down Zelda-like games was A Link to the Past, and then this. And let me tell you, this is so much harder than A Link to the Past. And so much longer. But it is really good. And I do really like it. I'm watching this though, and it's like, I'm glad I'm not doing a full playthrough of this, because I don't want to do some of these dungeons again. This is another one of like, we go for long enough, and we'll eventually stream this again, this whole game. But for now, 40 minutes is going to be enough. That's surprising, man. I'm very surprised about that. The weirdest thing about this opening is how it's also most of the ending. Oh, right. I suppose it's less that it's the weird thing about the opening. More that it's a weird thing about the ending. Like, great game. Really enjoyable. Really challenging, really engaging. The ending is really trash. Only had a few Super Nintendo games. I also only had a few Super Nintendo games. You had stuff like, what was it stuff? Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Star, Super Mario Kart, Super Castlevania 4, Donkey Kong Country 1. We had Alien 3 at some point. Batman Returns, Batman Forever. We had Populous at some point. Well, most of it's just, like, clips that you see from the opening, interspersed with, like, some stuff of the villagers rebuilding, and none of the villagers are recognizable in the anime cutscene, except for the mayor, who's only recognizable because of his bald head and beard. He travels with Maya for a while. Oh, I have to actually talk to everybody, don't I? He travels with Maya for a while, and then they go their separate ways. And that's kind of it. And I say it's trash mostly because of the reusing of just a lot of the cutscene, a lot of the scenes from the opening, of sequences in the game that have already happened by that point. Alright, so now we're going to talk to everybody. I think that's everybody. If we've spoken to everybody, then Merrick will be in here behind the helm. There we go. Now we can go to our cabin and rest. The way this game looks, though, you didn't, like, weirdly didn't get a lot of games like this on PS1. Like, you got a fair few 2D games still. Stuff like Wild Arms was still 2D. Both Suikoden games were 2D. The Luna games were both 2D. But you didn't get a lot of top-down 2D games. Like this, like action games. Like your action adventure. The game being set primarily around this one location, the village, and how most of the characters, or like every character, ends up with updated dialogue after every story sequence, is really, really interesting. It's something that helps keep you interested in a lot of the characters and make it feel more like a locale worth caring about, because rather than everybody just saying the same thing all the time, every time you do a dungeon or a story sequence happens, their dialogue changes and things have progressed and something else is going on, and they all have their own opinions on it. Yeah, I think the main thing Alundra has over the Zelda series specifically is the strength of its story. Like, the story is really enjoyable, I really like it. And I think it keeps you engrossed and interested throughout the game as things change and develop and grow. And it's something that, like, most Zelda games don't really have. The way the changes in the game throughout the story, as the story progresses, are reflected in the characters and how they act and react to everything. Whereas most Zelda games have most of the characters disconnected from anything like that. And none of them matter, the exception being Majora's Mask, and it's a big part of the reason why I really like Majora's Mask. Alright, and that's the opening. Captain, shouldn't you be at the helm? Probably could have been avoided if he stayed at the helm. Maybe this is supposed to be the connecting thread between Alundra and Alundra 2. That you have something going on in the opening, and then you wake up on a beach and you're found by an old man. Jet says he's a swordsmith, and like, oh yeah, it's decent money. But we learn later that the people of Inoa can't create anymore. And it's like, cool, you're a swordsmith without the ability to make anything. How are you making any money? Alright, so if we go to Wendell's house immediately, they'll tell us to go and get Septimus, and that sets us on the path to Talon's Manor. Better do it quick. Yeah, I do like how this game, I mean, because the dialogue changes with every event, it feels worth it to talk to everybody. Like, do a cycle through the village after everything, after every time something happens. Which is cool. It's rare to see something like that in a game like based around a small location. Like, you think of the Zelda games outside of Majora's Mask, and they really don't have that. Alright, so let's go to Talon's Manor. Watch out for the Murg. Rampaging Murg. The house is haunted. By Merc. Playing the Unworking Designs version of this is really nice. Because in the Western version, localized by Working Designs, everything takes more damage, and it slows like everything down. And the Merg take 2 hits. You end up with the basic slimes like we saw on the map, like just on the overworld map, take 5 hits. I was like, yeah, these things. 5 hits, as opposed to the 3 in the original Japanese. I really appreciate the Unworking Designs patch for changing that back, because it makes the game kind of overly tedious in a lot of respects like that. Where you just have to keep hitting the enemy over and over and over. And you end up with some of the trickier bosses becoming a lot more frustrating, because they take so much longer to die. And when the boss is trickier, you end up, in some cases, kind of hitting them with a war of attrition. Which is stacked in their favour when the health is just raised. So we end up with some bosses like the Dweller in the Water being like really frustrating because of that. Especially because it has so many attacks and so little actual vulnerable time, where it's actually attackable. Really good soundtrack, though. One thing that always feels weird in Alundra is coming from Zelda. Specifically, Zelda has a very specific way of structuring its health upgrades. You have your heart pieces, and then the big full health upgrades, just the ones that you get immediately, are at the end of dungeons, rewards for beating bosses in dungeons. And so Alundra just giving them out whenever it feels like is really weird in comparison. It's not bad, it's just strange coming from Zelda. The fact that nothing happens after that is, like, probably the most uncomfortable part. Especially coming from, like, Zelda. It's like, oh, Mel just appears in the foyer. And then sets some Merg on you. It's like, okay. That's standard villain stuff. Mel disappearing after you get the item and, like, giving you that warning. And then nothing happening after that is way more disconcerting. I got the book. So there's little hints, even early in the game, of like the ideas and what's actually going on here. That you'll probably just write off as random, like maybe world building, or just like random dialogue meant to build the time out and make it feel more substantial. Like, it all adds up to something which I really like. Like, the praying at Magiskar being an important thing. Deliver me! For the old man, they send 5 regular slimes after him to kill him in his nightmare. And it's like, yeah, that's probably reasonable. He's an old man. Later on, they send some, like, really nightmarish things. Like, Benair basically has a succubus. And not the fun kind of succubus, like, straight up monster succubus. There we go. The monster in Klein's nightmare is just kind of horrifying. This huge wall with a gaping maw that sucks him into it. With Benair, it's interesting. The succubus disguised as a pretty woman makes sense, appeal to his weakness, although why they couldn't just kill him outright, I don't know. With Klein, it also makes kind of sense, because Klein's like the warrior protector of the village. So sending something like more serious after him makes a lot of sense. Alright. Nope. Alright, let's do this. Eat shit, demon beast. Da, da, da. This man has not witnessed much swordsmanship because that was terrible. Ugh. Thanks, Ben. I do like this game. It's a good game. Good game. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, like, bring a stress ball for the later dungeons. Because they will upset you. So some of those later dungeons are not fun. Yeah, our first regular came in during the first launcher stream. Professor Snape. He is still a VIP in respect to that. We've not seen him in quite a while. But he is still a VIP in respect to him being our first regular. Yeah. Stuck with us for a while. I hope he's doing okay. He stuck with us through a launcher and then regularly through other stuff. Yes, yes. Here. Yeah, during the desert shrine. It was good stuff. The launcher was good for us. So, Professor Snape was one of 3 people. One of 3 regulars we've had who found us through just searching for the game, rather than coming from another community. It was Professor Snape, Lino, and Chant. It was definitely good to stream it back when it was a lot more chill during streams. I remember Alondra was the first game I got genuinely angry with. I think specifically during the volcano section. Chance was Digital Devil Saga, Lino was during that single session Ocarina of Time stream. Lino came in during the Ganon fight, like right at the end. Chance joined us when we were grinding in the sewers of Digital Devil Saga before the Lupa fight. So this is a But Thou Must that feels like nothing, but is actually really important to the plot. And so Ronan says that, which sounds like typical preacher spiel. And then Giles says this, which is a little weird. Yeah, streaming this early on within my first year was definitely a good thing. Back before we had the camera as well. Maybe we will get back to this again someday. Wouldn't be a bad one. Wouldn't be a bad one to do. There's a reason back when we used to do classic Mecha Mondays. I think the only longer game that went through on classic Mecha Mondays was this. Because I think it was an 8-session playthrough. And it's a good playthrough, and I think I do pretty well. And I was probably better at just talking to myself back then. I try not to have a lot of dead air on the stream anyway. The idea I've seen is like always try and talk like there's somebody in the audience even if there's not actually anybody there. Which, yeah, that makes sense to a point. I don't want the dead air anyway. I feel like I was better at it back then, but I was also like still doing the LPs at that time. And that was basically me talking to myself without an audience. So, translating that was simple enough. So, we've got a few minutes left of this. Let's talk about the Gilded Falcons, which are just not fun. There we go. So the Gilded Falcons are used to get like special items. You have to collect a bunch of Gilded Falcons and you trade them in for special items. Gilded Falcons are very missable. Like this one in Wendell's Nightmare that we got, if we didn't get that before we finish Wendell's Nightmare, it's gone. We cannot get it back. The worst one of them that I know off the top of my head is in Olin's Nightmare. Because it is such a tight time frame you have to get it. I'm not sure of the exact number. I've never tried to get them all. Because, like, if you're going to, you'll need a guide. You'll need to know where they all are beforehand. And, like I say, this is the worst one I know of off the top of my head. There's a lot of them, yeah. Alright, so the trick of this is... We do this. Merg are going to attack after we set the bomb. Okay, so that starts up. And now Orland's going to show us the bomb that he's got. And then the Merg attack. And to get the Gilded Falcon out of here, we have to kill all of the Merg really quickly. And grab the chest. And there we go. Now, that looked really easy. Because we're in the unworking design patch where the Merg go down in one hit. In the Western version without this patch, they don't. They take 2 or 3 hits to take down. And to get that Gilded Falcon, you have to kill all of the Merg. And then the chest drops down. You have to open the chest, and you have to finish the chest animation. And the text popping up saying, you got a Gilded Falcon. Like, that has to all finish before Septimus tells you that Olin is badly hurt. And if you don't, you've lost that Gilded Falcon. Like, right there, it's gone. And it's such a pain. And that is another 40 minutes. So I think we can do one more game. One more game that I grew up with. There's an old favourite. What is it with you and the fighting games, Teague? Always wanting me to play fighting games. I mean, I did play some X-Men Mutant Academy when I was a kid, but the one that I really spent the time on playing with a friend was Mutant Academy 2. Trilogy. Did have Pitfall 3D as a kid, and I never enjoyed it. I did finish the Mummy game when I was younger, though. Not something we have coming up. Oh, that reminds me, man. At some point, I do want to do a Saga stream. Possibly Saga Frontier remastered. And at that time, I would appreciate it if you were in chat to explain how to play the game. Because I so want to get into Saga. Yeah, you know what, fuck it. You want to talk about a game I grew up with? SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. This was a game the family would get in on. Like playing Royal Rumble, so much fun. Loved this game. I couldn't remember if it was Saga Frontier or Saga Frontier 2 that you had. Because you've got more experience with it, and you've spoken highly of it to me before.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is proof anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
And like, I'd like to get into Saga. A lot of the ideas sound really appealing to me.
Welcome to SmackDown! Oh my God, this is great! We could have a new champion! No! You will step into the ring with the game! It can't happen! I can't believe it! The stakes can't be higher! This isn't big enough! What will happen tonight?
Tactical battles, oh. That's, you know, that's not my jam. This isn't a fighting game. I actually have to remember how to play this because I haven't actually played this in years. Christian Cage now. Yeah, my primary school, were pretty obsessed with wrestling. And it was like, well, we had this at home when we got this. And I played this and this was fun. Most of my interest in wrestling was just from the video games. Had this as a kid, and then I didn't have another wrestling game until I got a PS2. I got a PS2 in 2008, and I picked up SmackDown vs. Raw 06. And then like I got 06, I got 07, and 08, or 09, 10. And I was into like all those wrestling games. They were a lot of fun. And it's not so much as I enjoy wrestling. I can sit down and I can watch wrestling and enjoy it. And appreciate it for what it is. But the games were my interest. And as I don't really get the games anymore, my interest in it has really waned. It's a similar thing with Star Wars. The Star Wars thing became really apparent in recent years. Of like, most of my interest in Star Wars was the games, and growing up was such a golden age of Star Wars video games in the early to late 90s to the mid 2000s. So many really good Star Wars games, and now we don't really get them. Like, they're so few and far between, if they're actually any good anyway. And so my interest has just kind of really waned. Look at Kurt Angle before they cut his hair. What is shaved him. Gangrel, goddamn. I love Republic Commando. Republic Commando's so good. I assume you're playing the remaster port rather than the Xbox or PC version. Yeah, it's a shame. I hope it plays well for you. I've not had much confidence in the Aspire port since their port of Jedi Outcast. Fun fact with Gangrel, if you go back to the legal stuff at the start of the game, you can notice World of Darkness is credited. The role-playing game, the role-playing company, where Vampire the Masquerade comes from. Because Gangrel is specifically one of the races of vampires in that. And, oh yeah, here's Gangrel, he's a vampire. So they specifically had to credit them for that. I remember Dean Malenko. No, that's Gargamel. Yeah, Republic Commando's great. I always really enjoyed Republic Commando. I hope the remaster port is decent, because the other ones that Aspire's done they've been really basic PC ports with no real concern for console problems. It took me a little while to figure out like what the issue with Jedi Outcast on Switch was, and there's no auto aim, so you're expected to aim precisely with the analog stick, which on a mouse, fine. Turn auto aim off, not a huge issue. It's the whole point of the mouse. You have way more control with it. With an analog stick, you need some kind of auto aim intact with it. And so the same will be true for Republic Commando, and I hope it actually has the auto aim properly enabled for it. And to make the point of it, like when the Xbox version of Jedi Outcast was made backwards compatible, that was originally ported by Vicarious Visions. It has auto aim and it plays so much better with it. It's crazy going through this and being like, how many of these people are still wrestling? How many of these people are still with WWE? How many of these people are still alive? It's Taz!
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
Let's go with Triple H. Wait a minute, did we not see Stone Cold? I know Stone Cold's in this. Is he just not available from the start? You have to unlock him? Alright, that's fine. As the SmackDown series went on and it became SmackDown vs. Raw, I really enjoyed it became more simulation based, and I really enjoyed creating a wrestler and just doing the story modes for him. I said before, I'd love to do SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 and 2007 because the
Yo, Jimmy, hit me with that Triple H. Yeah, you let the music keep playing,
This isn't Triple H's theme. Triple H's theme is Motorhead. It's like, it's time to play the game. God, look at that face. Animated mouth on a PS1 model. Oof. No, on PS1, a lot of people will tell you how good the Aki Engine games on Nintendo 64 were, like No Mercy and WCW NWO World Tour, I think. I get confused which one. But on PlayStation, the two to go for were the two Ukes games, SmackDown and SmackDown 2. Let's see if I can remember how to play this. Just the Aki Engine games on Nintendo 64 were a lot more technical. The Ukes games were a lot faster and more arcadey. Got the reversal! But yeah, for me it was all about the games with this. And how you play them. And like I say, the SmackDown vs. Raw games were just so much fun. Going back into older YouTube at this point, because they ended like 6 years ago now, goddamn. Super Best Friends did 2 months. Like 2 separate months, where all they did for their Let's Play channel was wrestling games. They did 1 month, and then later they went back and did another month. And like, they're into wrestling, so the enthusiasm there was fun. But like, it's a good showcase of just how fun these games can be, especially with a friend. Rope Break. Like, just as multiplayer games, even if you're not into wrestling, there's so much fun to be had with them. And here comes the wife. And there goes the wife. Yeah. Okay, so we got a finisher built up. So if I can get Kurt Angle into the position, I can give him the pedigree. What the hell was that, Triple H? Triple H shaved his head and grew a beard. And, like, it's still kind of weird for me to see. Because he had the long hair for, like, 20 years. No! The pedigree! One, two, three! Three count fall! Whoa! Whoa! It's all about the game, how you play it. It's all about control, and if you can take it. Success! Yeah. So yeah, like you have someone to play this with, which like, as a kid, not being into wrestling, not being able to watch wrestling because it was on like Sky One when I was a kid, and it's like we didn't have that. Nelson. It was on like Sky One, and like we didn't have that. We've been playing a bunch of games. It's our fifth 5-year anniversary stream. So we're playing a bunch of PS1 games that I grew up with for 40 minutes each. And now we're playing SmackDown 2. So yeah, like being a kid who like never watched wrestling, didn't really know anything about wrestling, this was just a fun game to play. It had a bunch of modes for you to play with. It had a bunch of modes for you to play with. Always loved Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble was my favourite. It was good multiplayer, like if you had somebody else who'd play it. And this is one of the best wrestling games to just play multiplayer. It's like you got some friends around. Cool. Let's stick in SmackDown 2. It's really simple. Like X is your strike, circle is your grapple, triangle is run, square is reverse and counter. L1 to do your finish when you've got one stored up. Use different directions with strike and grapple to do different directions. You need a pin when the opponent's on the floor. Press down and circle. That's all you need to know. It's as simple as that. It's super simple, super fast. And there you go. Pick up and play. So much fun. 5 pile drivers. Oof. Oof. The pile drive is rough when it's done by professionals. Like Owen Hart botched a pile driver on Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's why Stone Cold can't wrestle anymore. Because it broke his neck. And then it went untreated for years, and then it became a real problem, and he just couldn't wrestle anymore. So let's do Royal Rumble. Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat. Eddie Guerrero's death was tragic. Like, he was on steroids and painkillers, like just drugs, for a long time. And then he got clean. Like, he got fully clean. And he was clean for like a year, and then he just died from complications, like resulting from years of steroid and painkiller abuse. And it's such a shame because he was so good. I don't really have anything to say about Gangrel or D'Lo Brown, but Chris Benoit's there, and we can't really talk about a wrestler having died without talking about Chris Benoit's murder-suicide. Yeah, like Nelson says, like Chris Benoit killed his family and then himself. And it's awful. And WWE will not bring him up anymore. For a long time, they removed all mentions of him, references to him, and you couldn't watch any matches he was in. Excuse me. You can now. Like, you can they have matches that Eddie Guerrero was in. Not Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit was in on WWE Network now. Which is good, because, like, he had some really good matches, and some other wrestlers that he wrestled with did really well when they were wrestling with him. Kurt Angle, in particular, was always, like, never happy. He was never happy that the Chris Benoit matches weren't available to watch, because he felt like some of his best matches were against Chris Benoit. But it was just such an awful thing, and WWE unpersoned him. And you can't, like, the game that came out, the next game that came out after Chris Benoit killed himself and his family, they removed everything. You couldn't play as Chris Benoit anymore, you couldn't use any of the moves Chris Benoit used. It was all gone. And rightly so. She's also gone now. Her story is also tragic. But, fucking quick aside about China, the fact that they didn't induct her into WWE Hall of Fame until they inducted D-Generation X as a group is kind of ridiculous, because China was so important for women's wrestling for a while. She was the first woman to compete in a Royal Rumble. I think the first woman to hold the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, they did a lot with her, and then, like, really threw her away. It was honestly tragic, and now she's also gone. So, Royal Rumble, for those who don't know, what you want to do in a Royal Rumble? No! Royal Rumble is a 30-man match. You start with 4 wrestlers in a ring, and every 30 seconds, another wrestler comes out, until all 30 people are in the ring. All 30 wrestlers have come out. The video games restrict it because of limitations to polygons and such. In real life, you can have all 30 people in, there's no restrictions. You know what, Zeke? Royal Rumble on Dreamcast is a really good game to play for arcade wrestling fun. It's based on this engine. But it's got a more arcade focus, and it's a lot of fun. X-Pac! Good old Shaun Waltman. No, not Shaun Waltman.
You think you know me?
There it is. L2 to switch targets.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Remember the days when The Rock didn't come off as a fake douchebag? Wow, did you just throw that guy right out of the ring? Yeah, let's go with Perry Saturn then. Perry Saturn. Submission doesn't count in this. Yeah, so Royal Rumble, the way it works, you have to throw the other contenders over the top rope, and both feet have to touch the floor for them to be out. In a game like this, like, just being thrown out is it. There's no thing of like, oh yeah, my feet didn't touch the floor. Like, you go over the ropes, you're done. Sexual chocolate. They stopped that. Like, I think Mark Henry really didn't like that, and they stopped it, and he's been like the world's strongest man for like 15, 20 years now. Probably at some point. I honestly couldn't tell you all of Undertaker's WrestleMania matches.
Want to? Is this on?
It was the end of his career. Oh, I stopped paying attention by that point. Undertaker probably should have retired like 5 years before he actually did. Man, Edge is killing it today. I've heard something that's a real problem for a lot of more like wrestlers who've recently come into WWE, and by recently I mean within like last 10 years, has been that the theme songs are kind of generic and like not instantly recognizable. Which is a big issue when you're trying to do a big surprise pop. Because, like, oh, a wrestler's gonna suddenly come down to the ring. The theme music hits just before they come out, and you need the audience to be able to recognize immediately who it is. And so the best wrestling themes like that are immediately recognizable from the minute they start. Like Stone Cold with the glass smashing, or Undertaker with the bell toll. The Rock with "If You Smile," like immediately you know that. As soon as you hear the you know it's The Rock. Triple H with the low guitar string. It's like the and it's like, oh, and then it's like time to play the game. But you already know by that point. And those are the best ones. I'll agree with you there. Both Randy Orton and Edge. Like, Edge's later theme music that you had, like the one he's got from, like, in SmackDown vs. Raw 06. Really good. I always enjoyed Randy Orton's. I'll just randomly, every now and then, it'll just come into my head and I'll be like, I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. It's such a good, clean open. Battling this Piola Bridge. Yeah, I really liked Edge's and Christian's. I think in Climstream, the music that plays when I start chatting in Climstream is Christian's theme. Because, what is it? One of his friends, got Edge's theme, and I was like, shit, give me Christian's theme then. No! No! Oh yeah, the high flyers were always really appealing. Like, especially to just watch. Remember this era of Undertaker? The American Badass? Ooh. This was not a fun era of The Undertaker. Like, when they went back to the Dead Man, it was so much better. Lita! It's Lita! The 619 was such a cool move as well. It's like I don't think WWE really had anybody like Rey Mysterio, like a high-flying luchador wrestler before Rey Mysterio. So, particularly with a guy like the size of Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio is fairly short in comparison with a lot of the other wrestlers. So, like, he's there, he's short, and then he's competing with the other wrestlers. No! No! Yeah, and then he's doing, like, all the crazy high-flying moves. And the sixth... I think Rey Mysterio, I'm sure, was the first time I saw someone do a Hurricane Rana. And the 619 is such a cool, acrobatic, flashy move. Oh, it's R2, alright. It's crazy that Goldberg ever got as over as he did. It's crazy that Goldberg's still wrestling. Oh, he knocked out Albert. No! No! Yeah, and can you imagine that as a Royal Rumble? It's like, oh yeah, the final three. Triple H, Kane, and Albert. We've got time for one more quick match. What specials did they have? There we go. I loved some of the special matches in this as well. Like, Cage was always really cool. Special referee. Yeah, get the Latino heat in there. Matt Hardy. Special referee match for the, let's just say the Intercontinental Championship. That sounds like something that all three of these guys would be after.
Mamacita.
We already saw this. Having these entrances show, like, be the wrestler entrance, like the wrestling model, over the the entrance video, is such a smart idea. So you don't have to try and render all this going on within all the arenas. Look at his titties just swinging in the breeze. Remember Eso Rios? I don't. But he's there. So the fun thing with Special Referee, especially when it's the computer, is you can just go over there and start fighting them. But the match only ends when you call it. They didn't have like actual referees in this series until sometime in the PS2. And then it became a thing of like if you hit the referee too much, they will just straight up disqualify you. Can I not check under the ring in this? I guess I can't. I wanted to grab a weapon and just start hitting somebody with it. I didn't say that. So, like, you can just start counting them out as quickly or as slowly as you want, which is always fun to me. Like a real special referee match, and just how mixed of an idea they are. So, oh yeah, the person you don't want to win is pinning the person you do want to win. Cool. Don't count, or count really slowly. Oh, the finisher. I keep pressing the button too early to actually start counting them down. So then when they actually get the pin going, I'm stuck in a taunt. Alright, so that's 40 minutes, so let's finish this match off. And then we're done here. That's a 3 count fall. But yeah, if you want a fun arcade experience that's really good in multiplayer, this is genuinely one of the most fun times you can have on PlayStation. So is that 4 games? Let's do one more. So, game I grew up with. 5 games for 5 years. It's not a bad idea. The game I grew up with really weirdly. Tecmo's Deception, Invitation to Darkness. Which was known as Devil's Deception in Europe. Really interesting, unconventional game. And I didn't find this out until years later, but like they made more of these. And I didn't know that until I got Deception 4 on Vita. I really enjoyed Deception 4. No, we've done Spider-Man. We started this year off with Spider-Man. I did 2 playthroughs of it in one stream. Most of them are on PS1. Like, on PS1 you've got Tecmo's Deception, Invitation of Darkness, Kagero Deception 2, and Deception 3 Dark Delusion. Then on PS2 you've got the spin-off Trapped, and then on PS3 and Vita you have Deception 4 Blood Ties, and on PS4 and Vita you have the Director's Cut version of that, Deception 4 The Nightmare Princess. I really enjoy Deception 4. It's pretty jank, but it's fun and it's unconventional. There's not a lot like Deception. Hey, how you doing, Rebel? So Trapped. I listed Trapped. I listed all the games. I'll list them again for you. Tecmo's Deception, Invitation to Darkness. Released as Devil's Deception in Europe. Kigero Deception 2, Deception 3 Dark Delusion, Trapped, Deception 4 Blood Ties, Deception 4 The Nightmare Princess. All of them. I know my Deception. How you doing, Rebel? Pingus. Now, Pingus enters the castle. I need to restart this. Trap, Deception 4, and then my Princess. I played this back in the day. I'm doing okay, Rebel. It's our 5-year anniversary stream, so I've been playing through PS1 games that I grew up, because we've been playing PlayStation 1 games all this year. So for this, we're playing through PlayStation 1 games that I grew up with, that I remember fondly. And I had this as a kid. I played this as a kid, which is crazy. Because who the fuck else played Deception on the PS1? Now, your mom enters the Castle of the Damned. That's better. I love how there was a loading screen just for it to say prologue. But yeah, I wouldn't call this a good game, though. Like, it's rough. The concept is interesting, but it is so rough. Girl looks like Shiki. I mean, Shiki from, The World Ends With You? Oh, from Samurai Showdown. I don't know Samurai Showdown characters. M-Dub would be the one to talk about that. This is unique in the season, in the series, though. In that it's the only game in the series where you play as a male character. Every other game in the series you play as a woman. Yes. Yes, she is. Well, there is a female character, your assistant, and the one who like aids those who rule over the Castle of Darkness is a woman and is pretty prevalent. There's no music here at all. The first one's a lot more serious. Like, you're framed for the murder of your father, sentenced to execution, arrest your mom at once, the assassination of the king. Like, these guards were in the room when it happened. Like, framed for the murder of your father, you're sentenced to execution, to be burnt at the stake. And so, as a result, you pray to Satan for revenge. And so, obviously, you've been framed by your brother, so he can take the throne. Here she is. So, Deception 1, I think, is also the only game in the series that's in first person. Yep. So, in exchange for power, we're going to make a pact to resurrect Satan. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's Satan. Have you never seen the original, Rebel? It's like, it's gonna get freaky. I miss first-person Shin Megami Tensei dungeon crawling. Good. We can circle strafe. Who is it? Yes. The power of darkness. Deception 2. Yeah. This is interesting. Like, it's worth trying. I don't think I'd say it's worth finishing. It gets very repetitive. Well, he didn't get far. I think this is also the only game in the series where you don't immediately start off with the power. Like, you have to earn the power. Because right now, this guy, Aldebaran, the guy with the mask that just killed the other dude, is the head of the castle. And I think in all the other ones, you start with the power you need to start trapping people. But like here, we have to take the power from Aldebaran. A medium live room. I think you also like customize the design of the castle yourself as well, add rooms to it and such, and build it yourself. Which is something that later games took out. Football cage. What the heck just happened there? No, I'm good. Football cage. Football cage. And the secret door opens up. The symbol of Satan. Man, looking up and down these old pre-analog stick days, so difficult. It's L2 to look up, R2 to look down. It's rough. Okay, I'm back to the entrance room. And there. Yeah, you'd think the better idea in that respect would be to just not have you need to look up or down. Second floor. Groceries. Cool, what did he say? The symbol of Satan. The symbol of Satan. The symbol of Satan. Oh, hello. Okay, so the trick is that we need to catch Aldebaran in the traps. I don't think we do this yet, do we? We still need to escape. What do I do? 'Cause I have to talk with the woman before I can leave, before I can deal with him. Huh. I don't remember that. Am I remembering this wrong? Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, and we do this now, and then... Yeah, because we get the Covenant, we make the contract, and then we have to go and kill the knight who saved us. Hello. Yeah, so, like, is this the person you might be thinking of, Rebel? Yeah. I don't really play Samurai Showdown, so I don't know. Black hair and a tattoo on her back. That could be the character in Inception 2. Not like the same person. This is such a weird texture arrangement, and I have no idea what they did with it to make it that way. It's really interesting. Alright, so we have to go and find the knight now. Yo. Hello. Yeah, I killed Adibaran. Is it? I don't know. Oh no. Idorigo. Oh no. Sucking up. Take his soul. Your soul is mine. To be fair, like, I didn't have to be heartless to do that. The guy gave me no choice. He attacked me first. So yeah, I recommend checking it out if you're into the later Deception games. I don't really think I can recommend playing all the way through it, because it gets very repetitive, and the load times are really excessive. But the concept was interesting, it was really good. And they went on to improve it in the later games. No, this is just the first chapter. First of quite a few. Thanks to the GG's, guys.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
It take that long to save every time you want to save. And it takes 9 blocks on your memory card. And the memory card had, what, I think 15? Over half of your memory card on this. Your mom. You know, looking at this character, she's a weirdly high poly model for the PlayStation. And don't you think? Just have a low about it. She does, but I think it's all just one, just the dress. So it's like just the red, probably 2, maybe 3 polygons. Discount Anna Williams. Yeah, no, you're right about that. Oh yeah. Have you ever heard of the highest polygon model on Nintendo 64? Like there's one character model that has way more polygons than any other character model, and it's not even close. Like it's so much more, so many more polygons than any other character model on N64. And that character is Toad on the menu screen of Mario Tennis. Has more polygons than any other character model on N64. With Toad. So many polygons. Because he's literally like the only thing on screen to be rendered. So when I talk about the weird experimental stuff on PS1 that makes me such a fan of the PlayStation, this is the kind of thing I talk about. It's weird, it's janky. This entire sequence is playing with no music or sound or anything. But it has such an interesting concept with a rough execution, and it's the kind of thing I absolutely adore about early 3D gaming. Come on. He seeks the sounds of magic. Alright, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's see if we can make use of that. Simple enough, but we'll have to get down there quick enough. I put these in the wrong place, didn't I? He did them downstairs. Being able to set traps on the fly, such an improvement. This should be enough. But yeah, later games let you set traps on the fly without messing around and going back to a specific room. Way better. Going down. First floor. Renovations. Ghost. It's a cage. I mean, you will literally try to steal shit. I wish Deception 4 was on PC. Alright, I'll throw this out to Commander. Remove his soul for MP or kill him for gold. Cash for gold. Death for gold. Money for murder. Deception 4 is so good. I wish it was on PC. I bought that game 3 times. Remove his soul. Your soul is mine. Hello. Yeah, as what did I do? I bought Deception 4 Blood Ties on Vita. Then the Nightmare Princess came out. I was like, I like this. Let me get more of it. So I bought the Nightmare Princess on Vita. And then I got the PS4. And I got the Nightmare Princess on PS4. Are you coming or what? Come on. Tricky bastard. I've lost him. Oh shit. Yeah, Nightmare Princess is... excuse me. Thank you. Nightmare Princess is so much fun. This isn't where I want to be. It's such a shame that Tecmo is kind of a garbage company now. Koei Tecmo. Because I would be really on board with a Deception 5, but you know that if they did a Deception 5 now, they would load it with DLC. Exactly like they did with Dynasty Warriors 9. Exactly like they do with Dead or Alive 5 and 6. Ugh. To spend $300 more after you spent 70. I'm not. Especially when, like, let's be fair, these aren't games worth $70 to begin with. That should be fine. I hope Vita emulation gets better. So I can play Deception 4 on something other than my Vita. Not that I don't like the Vita, I love my Vita, but like... My Odin 2 is such a good all-purpose emulation machine. Where is it? There he is. We got him. It's my castle now. It's my treasure you try to steal. But yeah, you can see where the Deception series really started with this, and a lot of the ideas were here from the beginning. And the later games, for the most part, refined them, made them more reasonable, more accessible. Which is great. Oh, hello. Well, nowadays, you can usually throw save data onto an external flash drive, or cloud saving, if you have your account on the other person's console. Strong yet loved by many. Yeah, the third-person perspective is so much better for actually seeing everything, getting people in position for traps. Alright, so let's get this guy. Hello. What does that go? Hard to even position things. Yes, it is. Oh, and that's the alert. That's been 40 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll take care of this guy and then we'll call it. Gotcha. Of course, one of the big things they added later was the trap combos. Which I obsess over in Deception 4. Like getting a trap combo that is going to take somebody out. Your mom leveled up. Getting a trap combo that is going to take somebody out in a single run. Single cycle of it. Which a lot of the time isn't possible. Like, you do what you can with it. Springboard, absolutely. Wish could place more of those. Nah, we already got the other guy. This is... For the most part, this is one of the big problems with the original game, in particular, of this is the entire game. I respect that every NPC had... Every person who comes into the castle for you to deal with has stats, has the dialogue, and everything. But this ends up being the entire game. A cool side project, maybe, a playing short bursts. Yeah. But that is going to do it for us for today. Five years of streaming. 5 PlayStation games I had growing up. And more PlayStation games to come as we continue the year of PlayStation here on the mecha-chrono stream. I want to thank everybody for joining the stream. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Who do we have today? Manda, Mir, Bane, Teak, Nelson, Rebel. That's everybody. Where is my chat? Flame. Did I say Nelson? Nelson, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that seems to be everybody. Yeah. We should be back tomorrow with probably more Alundra 2. As we continue the year of PlayStation. Here's to another 5 years. See what we're doing in 5 years. Look forward to the year of PlayStation 2, where I show you all the PlayStation 2 games I grew up with. Here's the fun thing, it's none. Because I didn't have a PS2 until I was 16. But yeah, it's good stuff. I think Klim's still going. He seems to be obsessed with trying... Oh, he's finished it. He's finished, Parasite Eve. Yeah. So, what I will do then is I will recommend our buddy Teak, who is currently live playing Baldur's Gate 3. So if you want to go and check anybody out at the moment, Teak is the person I recommend. Cool dude, regular in here. Gifted us another 5 gift subs today, so that's really cool of him. Thanks so much for that. Like I say, back tomorrow with probably more Alundra 2, as I hope to just finish that game and then like forget about it for a few years. Following that, probably no, we said what we'll be doing after Alundra 2, Police Noughts. Yeah. So look forward to that. And then Ace Combat 3, which we've been talking about for a while. But yeah, that is it. I also hope to finish Alundra 2. Yeah. So there's not really anything else to say except thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and here's to 5 more years. Take care. Catch you next time, guys. Bye.